And we back. Episode 1 review. Boruto podcast. This is a new series. It's gonna be me and BorutoFan most of the time. Zook sometimes, maybe. We don't know, but it's a new series. We're gonna be reviewing the episodes. Now, this is a in hindsight type of review because we already seen episode 1 and all the episodes in Boruto Naruto Next Generation, the anime. But it's like we weren't there whenever it was. I mean, we were there, but we weren't a podcast yet whenever it first came out. So keep this in mind. If you're reading this or watching this for the first time and you hadn't seen the episode yet, we will be talking about spoilers. If you are an anime only, you've only watched the anime and only up until whenever the last episode happened, we are going to be talking about the manga, current events, at least as the day of recording. Day of recording is, what is it? February 27th of 2026. So it'll be a little bit over a week after chapter 31 has come out. But that's your reference point for whoever is listening. At least chapter 31. That's our current knowledge of everything that's happened for Two Blue Vortex. And yeah, let's get started. So we're gonna sync it up for the people at home listening. Pull it up on your end, the anime episode 1, and I'm gonna count down, and we're gonna go on go. I'm not doing one of them 3, 2, 1s and then you go on 1. We're going on go. So go ahead and pull it up. Pause if you need, or pause the recording right now and watch it in its entirety. And remember, this episode 1, has an end credit scene. So do not assume once the music, once that starts, it's not over. This episode is one of a couple. Well, more than a couple. It's like 10 or something. I forget exactly how many. But this is one of the episodes that have something after you think the episode is already over. You know? So pull it up, watch it, come back, and press play, or pull it up and we're going to sync up. All right? We're going to go on go. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. You're not going to be able to hear it because it's copyright. But we're seeing the age of Shinobi is over. Clash. And we see Boruto and Kawaki on top of the Hokage face, looking like a standoff, right? Like a Westerner with the wind blowing in the back. And Kawaki says, I'll send you where I sent the 7th Hokage, Boruto. And then he says, yada yada, the age of Shinobi is over. And then we see zoom out, the whole of Konoha seemingly destroyed. Boruto reaches in his back pocket, grabs his headband, ties it, karma activating. Oh wait, we don't know about that yet. We do now, and then he says, I'm still a shinobi. Then they clash, and of course, they're not gonna show us the fight. They're gonna... Alright, let's pause right here. This is the opening. I just paused on the first frame that I could on the opening of Boruto. Let's talk about that scene. Let me let him up.
Yo,
Hey,
what's up?
what up, boy? So we're doing a episode review. I don't know how you can title the pod thing, but we're doing an episode review. It's not really a review since we already seen it, right? Like it's a reaction, but it's not a yada yada. It's episode 1. So pull it up on your end if you want, or if you just remember it, right? Right now I'm paused on the frame of Boruto jumping into screen and the Boruto logo in the back at the beginning of the opening. But we just saw the flash forward sequence or the flash forward scene or the future timeline or whatever you want to say of it looked to be Boruto versus somebody named Kawaki.
Oh,
and
that's
they're talking about the seventh Hokage. If I remember correctly, the seventh Hokage is Naruto. What happened
yeah,
to Naruto, right? And this is
yeah,
the part where, even though we are from the future, we know what has happened up until chapter 31 of Two Blue Vortex. This is something we still don't really know how it happened, how it came to be. Um,
yeah. Do you have any
but
theories in
we know what
mind?
they mean. Yeah, we know what they mean, and by they I mean Kaoki. We know what he means when he says, "I'll send you where I sent the seventh Hokage, Boruto." Uh, because Kawaki, he sends Naruto, the seventh Hokage, into a timeless dimension of which he uses his dojutsu to do, right?
Hmm.
And so we know that, okay, we still don't know why he wants to send him to the same exact location, you know? And then also, first off, the designs have changed from then, right? Right now, the version of Boruto and the version of Kawaki that we see don't look like them. So we haven't gotten to that point yet. But uh, I wonder if they're going to continue it because it was a whole thing at some point. I forgot when. But in one of the interviews, they're like, it might be subject to change, the designs. And if it is, I'd rather the new ones than the ones that we see in this scene right here.
Yeah.
And then
What's
even
your
the, uh huh.
yeah? What's your favorite part of chapter
Yes.
one when we get to? What's your favorite part if you want to get into that?
Well, chapter one, you mean episode one, right?
Oh, are you talking the anime or the manga? Are you talking about the anime?
Yeah, we're talking about that. It's an episode review.
Oh,
We're
okay.
pulling up the episode one
Uh,
review. I
yeah.
mean, episode.
What's your favorite part, or like, what's the part that got you the most excited?
Well, it's not in this that we just saw. The flash forward scene, I get it. You know, what is the purpose of an episode one? An episode one is an introduction. It's the first impression of anything, right? Of a show, of a movie, whatever. It's the first impression. So this scene right here, if you watch Naruto, because you don't have to, right? Like sequel series, there's some that are predicated on you having watched the previous, right? And then there are some that don't. Boruto, I
Yeah.
would say, falls in the latter, as in you don't really have to watch Naruto. Now, if you did and have before watching this episode and all of Boruto, it's even better. It's a way better experience because you know, you have prior knowledge, you know. So who's the seventh Hokage? What's a Hokage? You wouldn't know. But if you watch Naruto, you would, right? So this is one of those where it's good to have watched Naruto, but some could say it might have been better to not, you know, but only in the context of Boruto as the story. So in part one and in Shippuden, right? Part one Naruto, part one Shippuden. I mean, part two Naruto Shippuden. We see everything that leads up, and we see a little bit of Boruto. He's in one of the last episodes in a couple of the movies, right? So, oh yeah, also there's the movie version of Boruto, which does go from like what 50 something to 60 something. It covers around that, plus a little bit before with the flash forward, but yada yada. So this episode, the purpose of what we just saw is to introduce us. It's a hook. Yunk, got you. Now you're interested, right? Because it's not just what happened to Naruto, it's what happened to the village. You know what I mean? What happened?
Yeah.
The last
Yeah.
time we seen the village like this, if you'd watched Naruto, was against Pain. Did a Pain level threat happen again? And if so, who? Is it the guy that Boruto is fighting? Because presumably Boruto is the main character, meaning He is the good guy, meaning anybody opposing is a bad guy. So this right here, this scene is probably, and I would say, the best introduction to a series ever that I've seen. I don't think I've, especially not Naruto, right? Naruto started with a flashback narrated by unknown voice, right? We know who it is after, but an unknown voice saying, "Back then, the Nine Tails attacked," and it was about the Nine Tails attack, right? That's cool. It's a history thing, but current events, which is what that is posing it as, it's posing what we just see as right now. They're not talking about in the past, long ago, because those are, I see that a lot in Disney movies. I'm sorry. In a lot of Disney movies, they hit you with the opening of long, long ago, even Star Wars, the whole beginning and credits, or the end credits, the beginning credits. It's in a galaxy far, far away, you know? So I would say I like this better with just they boom, plop you right into the action. Now they immediately take you out that action. Because right when they're about to fight, right when they're preparing to stand off and, duel it out, they cut away. So it's a hook and they take it away right after. So yeah, this scene is very good. But now we're on the opening. So let's press play. This opening is called Baton Road, and it's made by Kanabun. If you watch Naruto, you would know what Kanabun is. Kanabun is the band responsible for Silhouette. Silhouette Naruto opening. Probably third or second, depending on who people say or what people say, favorite openings of Naruto. Right? I don't have any of those as top three, but or any of those. I don't have Silhouette as top three, but that's just me. I have that one. I forget the name, but it might be 11 or 10, which is where they're dancing, and it might be an ending. I don't remember them like that, but they're dancing, and it's chill. I don't know, something about it. But Silhouette, not necessarily my favorite or top three. But as we're watching this opening, we see in all the characters that we're gonna get, and we're seeing a bunch of old characters, grown up version. We see the whole Konoha 11. Well, not the whole Konoha 11, but a lot of the Konoha 11 plus Kakashi and them. All right, we're about to hit the end of the cutscene, end of the opening, and it's Boruto just coming in, bang, punching the screen. All right. It's a good song. I have better openings, or I have openings that I like better. Like this is definitely the most nostalgic, just because it's the first, you know. But other than that, it's probably better than most. And we only have like 12. That's the thing. Shippuden, they had like 20 something. And Boruto Part 1 or Naruto Next Generation, the anime, it only has like 12, right? So 1 out of 12, it's on the higher end. That's pretty good. Um, but yeah, let's continue. Let's press play again off of the screen where Boruto is punching the camera. We see the title name is Boruto Uzumaki. Very good title name. It's oh, what episode is that? Oh, it's the episode about Boruto. And we see Boruto and a little boy running alongside him, parkouring. Now, immediately, this shows you a lot about his character. First off, he's just doing this effortless. He's doing backflips, somersault, jumping. He's diving through like railing, and they're running for some reason. They're talking about it's really bad. And then we get a transition to what looks to be their parents, right? Their parents walking. I really like that transition. The first time I seen it, I was like, oh my God. It's simple. It's just a fade in and fade out, right? But I was like, oh my God, especially because I know what they are. I know who these people are. That is, first off, he looks like the other guy, Shikadai and Shikamaru. And then obviously we know Boruto and Naruto. So yeah, that right there, very good. So now we're learning more about the world. Hokage office. They're going into an office. There's a bunch of paperwork. They're talking about entrance to the academy. They're gonna be there all night again. And now we see a train. They cut away. Boruto's on top of the train, not riding it inside. And then this is what they were running for. They were running for a chili hamburger, which sounds crazy. I would never eat a chili hamburger. I would eat a spicy hamburger, but not chili where it has it in there. Um, they're just, yada yada. Look at the dynamic. You're impossible. This train is so convenient. They don't even got to walk now that they got that. Hidden Leaf is more and more modern. Just a bunch of old fashioned Ninja Academy starting tomorrow. A bunch of world building right here. We're putting you in the world, right? And now they're talking about the dynamic. And look at Boruto. And then the guy says, "Don't go embarrassing your dad. It's going to reflect on him." And then they're talking about his mom. Who's his mom? I wonder. And then he analogizes to the train. As long as it stays on the tracks, it'll get to its destination easily. So just sit tight until you get there. I mean, let's pause that right there when he gets off. Don't be late on your first day. So immediately, right? Anytime they give you an analogy and it's, oh, this is what they're talking about, you have to assume you have to assume that there's more to that analogy, especially because it's a life lesson type of analogy, right? He just said, it's just like this train. As long as it stays on its track, it'll get to its destination easily. Keep this in mind for further reference. But I don't see that. I don't see that actually being true. As long as a train stays on its track, it'll get to its destination easily. No, because a lot of things could happen on the track that messes up getting it to its destination. But it's just a life thing. It's a see the bright side of things. Just go with it, and it'll be good. Don't worry too much about anything. It's one of those type. So automatically, right? When I first seen this, the very first time on April 5th, 2017, maybe April 4th, depending on time zones. But for me, it was April 5th, and it wasn't on Sundays. When I first seen it, I immediately drew to the character Boruto because not only did we see the flash forward, which is cool. I'm not too much of an action head, I'm not one to be interested in a story if they show me somebody fighting, you know. But in real life, if I see fighting, hey, what's going on? Let me pull up my phone and start recording, right? But I'm more, especially since it's anime, I'm more, who are these people, right? Why do you want my time? Why do you want me to watch? And immediately we see Boruto doing parkour. Parkour will always be cool, right? And then not just parkour, but then they're eating burgers and they're riding on top of trains. They're just like that. I don't know. It's something about the way he looks, the way he acts, and this is just him on the train. It hooked me. I was like, oh yeah, this my guy. I don't know if it has to do with other characters that I like because there's not too many characters like Boruto, you know, that you could actually quantify to a percentage wise how similar they are. The only characters would be obviously Naruto, his dad, but even then, Naruto is not like him. You know, Naruto did this, he parkoured, he was eating food, but it did not hit the same like Boruto. Something about it. What about you, Boruto fan? Oh, he might be muted. There you go.
I think the way Boruto moves is so like it's not forced. Like you could just it's so smooth. First of all, it's so smooth.
Exactly.
And
Like
he does it so naturally.
he
And like
just jumped and then did a knee slide through railing. Like, come on first attempt. If you mess that up, you're bonking your head, you're hitting your knees, or you're falling off the building. And he just does it smooth. I'm gonna need that because that reminds me of Daredevil. You know, not literally, right? We don't Daredevil and Boruto. What are you talking about? I'm talking about just the parkour. Daredevil is always known, and I always remember him for how he moves. He reminds me of Daredevil, how he moves around just effortlessly because he has such a keen sense of awareness for his surroundings.
you know what his Boruto parkour remind me of a little bit? Like when he jumped over the table.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs 2.
Watch Dogs too. I ain't
Yes.
never played, so what is it? Is it the same animation, you would say?
Yes, he uses two hands to jump over it. The parkour, you say you never played it, but Watch Dogs 2, the parkour in there is like is good too.
Well,
It's like
that's a pretty common base uh, to do whenever you jump off of something like that. But did he also do the flip? Because if you see, right, if you slow it down, frame by frame, you see he doesn't just turn and jump his body to the side. He does a little flip to like roll out of it to land proper.
actually
Did they
yes,
do that?
yes, he does do that in Watch Dogs 2 too.
Okay, okay. But yeah, even that like video game, it reminds me of just his movement is clearly not regular. I'm not doing this unless I train, right? I'm not doing this. First off, I'm not doing it because I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna risk that. You kidding me? You saw the buildings that he was on? That's at least compared to his body, at least like 20 times taller than him. If I do that in real life, I'm dying. So it's something to just be like astonished by. Like, damn, he can do that. I know it's an anime and it's fake, right? But something about it. It's just again, episode 1, introduction. You're gonna be amazed or at least intrigued a little bit by something in this episode. Because if you're not, you don't continue. At least I wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Look at One Piece. I put on episode 1, did not get intrigued by anything. I turned it off. But that's just something, right?
Yeah.
Let's continue. It's don't be late on your first day, and it's Shikadai on one of the first off, he jumped off into a power line. That's another crazy thing. It's not just Boruto, right? It's everybody because again, these are ninja, right? This is a show about ninjas. Yes, Boruto has been a show about ninjas, right? So let's press play. He's talking about some shut up while eating or while having his mouth stuffed. That's rude manners. Nah, I do that a little bit. Now we see him staring off into the distance. He says, Dad can just mind his own business. This is setup right here. He says, I'll show you one day. Hey kid, who are your parents? Don't you know that's dangerous? The train conductor catches him. And then he just jumps off onto another power line. Or what do they call that? A pole for the power line? Not on the actual line, but on the pole part of it. Sometimes bears climb up that and then they get shocked.
Real quick, I'm gonna
But
say something. So
pause.
you see how you just like who's his kid, who's his father, right?
Exactly.
I mean, look, right? Even from the beginning, it said I'm gonna send you to where I send the seventh Hokage. There's
Yep.
like obviously we're gonna know who Boruto is from previous things, or who his parents is, but it's setting this up to where if you didn't watch Naruto or if you don't know anything about Naruto, you get here and you're like, well, who is his parents?
And this is
And
the
it's breaking it down for you
this is
slowly.
one of the biggest things to, if it was a checklist, right? Because it's everything is subjective. Art is subjective. Media, especially interpretive, is definitely subjective. But with that, there are a somewhat objective, and yes, that's an oxymoron, somewhat objective list of things some things should do. And for an episode one, it isn't just introducing you to the world and into the characters of the world that we're going to be with, but it's also, like I said with the sequels, if it is a sequel, is it enough? Did it do enough to stand alone without the support of whatever it is the sequel to? Meaning, do you believe if you had never watched Naruto or Shippuden, could you continue with this story and not necessarily miss out on anything that this story is trying to tell you? I believe so, because again, who's his dad? Well, we know he keeps looking at this guy, and that guy on the mountain looks like the guy that was on The Office. And then we connect it. Oh, they're one and the same. So that means that that is their Mount Rushmore. Even if you never knew what that panel of faces on the mountainside or cliffside, because it's a cliff, right? Even if you never knew what that was because it wasn't explained yet, you would at least relate it to Mount Rushmore, even if you're not American, because Mount Rushmore is, I would say, one of the seven wonders of the world. Some people don't say that, but I would say it's really, really, you know, familiar. You don't even got to know who these people are on there. Do you know who all the people are on the Mount Rushmore in real life? Can you? It's only four, which is good. But can you say who are on the Mount Rushmore?
Let's just move past that because I don't know.
Okay, it doesn't matter. But the four that are on there are Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson. All four previous presidents of the United States of America.
Okay.
But yeah, if anybody didn't know. See, you're learning something. Even if you've already seen this, now you know who the four people on the Mount Rushmore. And don't tell me or don't ask me which one is which. I don't know. I know which one is George Washington just because he's always on coins. But and then I know who Abraham Lincoln is because of that the vampire movie with him. But the other two, I don't know.
It's
Toss up.
crazy because I would be able to point which is which. Like I know both of their faces.
Oh
Thomas
yeah.
Jefferson, Theodore
Which one
Roosevelt.
is Thomas Jefferson from left to right?
The Thomas Jefferson is the one on the right.
Oh, okay. So it goes Washington. Um,
Actually, hold on. I'm sorry.
okay. It goes Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, Abraham.
Let me see.
I don't know. I mean, it would make sense because that is the order of how they were president. It was them, then them, then them, and
I mean,
then.
it gotta be. It gotta
Okay.
be like that.
Well,
It's
let's
just
move past that, right?
yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah,
if you didn't know that, now you know that face thing is our Mount Rushmore, right? A good thing about, or not a good thing, but something about world building, right? You can only really reference it to our world, right? We just saw a train, we have that. We just saw power lines, we have that. We just saw obviously buildings and people in it, we have that. The world has that, right? They have food, good ass food too. Even though I don't, chili burger, yada yada. even that, right? Clothing. They're not. This is a show about ninjas, but they're clearly not back in the day. As they said, the village is getting more and more modern. So just seeing all that, I would say right now, very good at actually putting us in this world. Now, what's next on the list of objectivity, which isn't so objective? Well, we got to get to the characters. We've already seen 2, 3 with the conductor, but let's press play. So we're on the frame of Boruto on top of, and first off, he landed that shit perfect too. He was wobbling a little bit, but he still landed it.
Yes.
That's another parkour feat right there. How you could just, I'm never doing this. First off, I've seen real life videos of bears climbing up these poles, and then when they go up on these poles, they stay there. And we have to, obviously you can't just keep them there. So animal control or police, firemen, whoever have to get him down. And I seen a video where I guess they got him down the hard way by making him agitated. He hits a power line and then boom, he fries and falls straight, hits the ground. He bounces off of the ground and then he gets up because it's a bear. But a normal person, you're dying, right? So this is just this is something that I couldn't do that he can. And I wouldn't say envy, but I envy. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. All right, let's press play. Now we see in the distance some kids looking like they're kicking somebody.
He rode. He made it.
And we see they call him Denki. Is that enough? It seems to be some bullies. Says, I want to have some fun too. Oh, are they about to jump him? Oh, what is that? What drink just came out of? And it's Boruto. And he says, sorry, my hand slipped. Come on, now this sucks. Are you crazy? You want to get hurt? Take that back now? He'll let it slide. Come down here. I bet. And then that jump off, and he does multiple of him. Right? That multiple of him, you're like, what's going on? Again, had you not watched Naruto, how did we just have multiple versions of the same person? That is not a real life thing. Right? But let's pause. Right.
What's
Right
exactly your timestamp?
Huh?
What exactly is your timestamp?
I'm at 6:33 right now. I just paused. So we were just seeing them beat up the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you listened closely, first off, the jump off, right? The jump off is so good.
You know what my favorite part of that is?
Uh-huh.
You see how it was like a slow-mo where one of his shadow clones was, oh man, one of his second persons was above the what is that, a wallet? That's a wallet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of his persons was above the wallet, and then the other person was like, what would you call that? Like parallel? Like kind of like parallel to each other.
Yeah, the shot composition is good.
Yeah.
On that scene right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that looks amazing.
as they just said, and as you said, the shadow clone, the people that were bullying this random just said shadow clone. Then he says, you're a ninja? Boruto says, I don't care about ninja. Right? That automatically, it's a character thing. They're telling you character. Right? They're, I guess, showing you character. Right? What is ninja? What does it mean to be a ninja? And why does he not care about it? These are all questions you're immediately asking. When I first watched this, having already watched Naruto Shippuden and Naruto Part 1, I know what a ninja is, right? And I've seen examples of people not wanting to be ninja, right? I.e., Rogue Shinobi, which is just someone who was and now isn't. And they all had different reasoning for why they didn't want to be ninja, or they don't care about ninja, or yada yada, right? Well, I could think of Sasuke, right? When he went rogue, because of power. He wanted power for a goal he wanted to accomplish. Well, clearly, right now, the only thing that we see Boruto, which is the main character, say is he'll show him, as in he'll show Naruto one day. What is he going to show him? I don't know. All intriguing questions. All questions to bring you in to want to find out what it means. And then you got to wonder, okay, well, if it's not like Sasuke, he has his own motives. And now we got to figure out the motive, right? So, oh yeah, and then this fight scene, perfect. It's bullies getting beat up, right? The whole bullies get bullied, which is somewhat real. But he didn't even beat him up that bad, right? He didn't go higher. There are some characters or some people, you go low, I go lower. But he did not go lower. He just did as much as they did, right? It's what do they call that? The meeting the equal level of force in real life. In real life, they call it, the equivalent level of force. So they put their hands on Denki, right, which is the boy getting bullied, and he put their hands on them, but he didn't go crazy. Matter of fact, he could have punched. He could have opened. He could have closed fist punched them, right? Because that was a kick. A kick is way worse than a punch in real life. But he didn't. You know what he did? He want to stuff a burger down his mouth, which is comedic, but also shows restraint. You know, this is justice somewhat. This is a sense of justice that he has to right a wrong of somebody getting bullied. He sees it. I have to act. I cannot allow bad things to go on if I have the ability to stop them. You know what that sounds like? And this is what showing character, right? Showing the traits of a person does in an episode, right? It makes you think of anybody or anything in any media of what is similar. And me having said it's somebody who cannot sit around knowing bad things are done and they have some ability to stop it. It reminds me of superheroes in Marvel or DC. Let's give two examples. In Marvel, Spider-Man. Spider-Man will not just sit around seeing something bad happening, having the ability to stop that bad thing from continuing or even happening at all, and he doesn't act, right? Another example, Superman, literally a guy just trying to do the right thing. This shows character, this shows morale or morals. I said morale, morals. Or even in anime. In anime, another example, My Hero Academia. First thing we see, the main character. He sees something bad going on, and his first bodily reaction is to run towards the danger, right? This is heroism 101. This is a good moral compass, I was going to say a different word, but good moral compass is good. And then you have to think, okay, well, why? Right? Why are these characters the way they are? Why did they want them to be the way they are? Because remember, this is a show. They pick what the characters do. So they have to explain why they do it. Well, why did all the previous examples, Superman, Spider-Man, Deku, why are they like that? That's just how they were born. Or that's just how they were raised. And it goes to nature versus nurture, which is the correct, I would say, method. I would have to say it's in the nature. It has to be nature. but then some would say nurture. Either way, this is a result of something. He doesn't just go out and help these people, right? Help one person from these people bullying him because of nothing. Clearly, right now, we have not been told anything that's motivating or an incentive for him to do this. He just does it because he's seen it. Literally, he was off in the distance on like a telephone thing. It's probably telephone, if not electricity. But just looking in a direction, sees people bullying somebody, and he has to act. He has to put a stop to it. This is a good person. And I, being a listener or watcher or reader, have to give him credit. He does something that I might not do, depending on the circumstances. You know, I see something going on and I have the ability, and then you second guess. So he's a better person than me. Where you have, oh, do I really gotta, oh, does somebody else will do it? No. Obviously, in real life, I'm a help. But I'm just saying that I'm exaggerating to emphasize this moral choice right here. Because you saw what he's doing. He got kicked in the butt. Literally. He got his butt kicked. The other guy getting bullied. Boruto could run the risk of that. Unless he knows that he can handle anything that comes his way. And if that's the case, that's another character trait that they just showed you in not even 7 minutes in. And there's this quote, right? A lot of people use it, really popular. It's called, they give you everything to see if you can handle it, right? It sounds pretty simple, right? Oh, yeah, of course I'm going to handle that. But that's me. You never know. But right here, something as simple as this, something as simple as somebody getting bullied and, oh, I just got to stop it. You know, in real life, we didn't actually experience bullying like that. Like I never saw bullying in real life. It's real for sure, but I never saw it. I don't know. Maybe my school was just a good school, or maybe my school hit it well. But I never saw bullying like that. And if I did, I don't remember. You know, but you never know what is bullying to somebody. You know what I mean? You never know what hurts another person. So the sensibility of Boruto to, even though that's obvious, right? He's getting his butt kicked. To just, oh no, this is something wrong. I have to stop it. Very commendable. Let's continue though. I'm at 6:33. If y'all want to, even it back up with me. Says, let's get out of here. And then they run away. And then they start getting chased. It's a little chase scene, And then cut away. We pan up to the top of the building. And then boom, Boruto's on top of the building. How does that happen? This boy is doing inhuman-like movement. First, he's parkouring. I mean, humans can parkour. But he's parkouring like that. And then all of a sudden, he turns the corner and he's gone. He's up on a rooftop. That's crazy. And now Boruto is talking to Denki. Denki, first off, he says, "Are you okay?" Denki says, "I'm not okay. Now more of them are going to come after me tomorrow." And then he says, "That would just spare change to me." Boruto says, "Listen, doesn't it piss you off? Teach him a lesson. I'm not strong like you," character one says. Says, "Huh? You know ninjutsu. What's ninjutsu, right? Do you attend the academy?" "No. I will tomorrow."
Wait, can we pause it real quick?
Tomorrow, all right. Pause at 7:26.
Okay, so I tried to pause it, but I was muted. When Denki said, "I'm not as strong as you" to Boruto, and then he said, "Huh," it also made me realize the thing with heroes, right? They don't do what they do, or they don't have that instinct to like protect somebody because of how strong they are, or them having the confidence to be able to defend themselves. It's more like, don't let them do that.
Exactly. It's something
Don't let them
else. It is
Don't let
something more. It's something probably unexplainable or inexplainable. I mean, because him saying "huh" to "I'm not as strong as you," he didn't even think of that. He didn't even think it was
exactly.
a possibility.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, it's not about strength. It's about what is right and what is wrong. And
Exactly.
what they were doing to you is wrong, my guy. You have to teach them a lesson.
Mhm.
And this is the pessimistic and optimist, uh, clash. Literally, one is opened up, like their body language is opening. It's opened to the world. The other one is curled up, damn near fetal position, head down, not wanting to see the world. And even the language that they say, "I'm not as strong as you." Boruto's like, "Huh?" And then they're like, "Teach him a lesson." It's just showcasing the difference of the characters. One to highlight how they think of the world, but then also to uh, how would you say? Let me think. All right. So one to highlight how they think of the world, and then also to how they think of each other. This is to us, a happenstance first encounter between two characters. One guy just did something good for the other. The other had just had something good done to him, right? And one sees it as a win, and one sees it as a negative. One sees it as a positive, as a negative. He said, "Now they're just gonna come after me tomorrow. They're gonna beat you up more again tomorrow too." This is what this is what every trope of bullies getting bullied does.
Mhm.
Whenever bullies get bullied, and now bullies can't bully the bullied, right?
Mhm.
Now they're gonna go extra hard on the bullying, and you gotta stop it. They are not gonna ever stop unless you make them stop. And Boruto, he doesn't seem to have a problem with that. Like, he doesn't seem to have a problem with stopping bad things from happening. Meanwhile, Denki, this is the victim mentality right here. Victim mentality. Boruto, this is another thing of how when he said, "I'm not as strong as you," he said, "Huh?" It's another reasoning for that. Boruto doesn't see himself as a victim. In this sense, in this scenario right here, he doesn't see himself as a victim. Because he can do something about it. Meanwhile, Denki, on the other hand, sees himself as a victim.
Mhm.
And this is a somewhat popular quote. I like to quote a lot of things, but this is a quote that I've heard and it stuck with me. What you resist persists, and what you chase escapes. And what it means is you're resisting, it's persisting, right? So you just resisted getting bullied, Denki, and you believe it's going to persist, right? It's not how it works. It's not how it really works. If you resist, and especially because this is the thing with bullies bully people because they were bullied before.
Yeah.
It's a show of power over somebody else, and that showing is just a coping. That's just a coping mechanism for whenever they couldn't, whenever somebody else was imposing their will on them, right? So the bullies, even if we never see them again, they are bad for doing what they did, but there are reasonings for it. And Denki, you have to know that. You have to know that. You have to be smarter because if you keep thinking you're a victim, you're going to live in it. And when you live in it, it becomes real. When it becomes real, you live in it and it goes circular, right? Boruto is the optimist in this right here. Even just the body language, again, he is smiling. He just got done fighting people. Could have risked injury or definitely exaggerating, but death. Um, and he's just seeing the bright side in things. And then look at their color palettes, right? This is another thing about character and showing uh, traits. The color palette, the design. First off, the design is perfect. I love it. He's in a windbreaker type of jacket with sweats on, real active. We saw him get active. He just 1v whatever, right? Even though it was really a tie because he had shadow clones with him. But even then, right? His color palette is so bright. It's pink, it's yellow, it's blue. Meanwhile, Denki, it's blue, yeah, but it's a darker blue. Denki's hair, black. Denki's eyes, black. It's all darker shade, not as bright, you know? So, and then the smile, the white in the smile, cheesing. Perfect. This immediately makes me like the character, especially because it's probably something I would not go out of my way of doing. Again, I never saw bullying in real life. But if I did, I would probably mind my own business depending on the circumstance. Oh, I got to get to class. I'll make an excuse. Boruto don't make an excuse. They just told him, right? Shikadai just told him, stay on this train. You good. You're going to get there eventually. Yada, yada. That type of messaging. And he pops off the train. He gets off of the tracks. So whatever the destination may be, he just chose a detour to help this person. He didn't have to. I would have just stayed on the train probably. You know what I mean? But it shows character. And this is what I really, really like. I don't like action like that. I can watch a story without action. I can read a story without action. I don't need it. And by action, I mean fighting. Because every story has action.
Yeah, I'm the same way too.
Every single story has action. The word. But when we mean action in this sense, we're talking about fighting, right?
Yeah.
I don't need that. Some of the best stories I've ever read or watched have fighting, but are not the reason why I like them. Batman versus Superman, literally a fight movie. It's about two people fighting, and yet the fighting is not why I like that movie. It's everything else, right? So just seeing something that I wouldn't do and somebody does and I admire is so good. But is that all you wanted to say on this right here from him saying like, oh, I'm not strong like you. Huh?
Oh yeah. I was been done. I was just listening to you. But
Oh,
I do have more. Like it's gonna be a lot more coming up with the
oh yeah, I
with this
know.
conversation.
We've seen this episode already. Again, we are not acting like this is a first time reaction. We have seen this episode before, just so everybody knows. But with that, we have a better view of everything. So it's a good trade off. All right, let's press play. They handshake. Look at that handshake. I don't even remember the last time I handshake somebody or
Wait,
handshook.
me too. Oh no, never mind. I just handshook somebody yesterday.
Because we don't really handshake like that formal. Because I handshake, but it's daps, not a literal shaking of a hand, you know. So, but even that extending of a hand, you know what it means to put a hand out. Put your hand out. Everything about that phrase, I like. And he just did that action. It's the same type of concept as the apple. What do I mean? Well, when somebody takes a bite out of an apple, what is that indicative of? Common trope in movies. It is somebody not evil, but oppositional, takes what they want, right? They got this apple. I'm gonna take a bite out of it because I want it, right? So it's the same type of concept. Put your hand out. You're inviting. You know, again, open to the world.
A very
And
humble character too.
by having that handshake be done, he just brought him in. He just brought in Denki. Again, Denki was curled up, damn near fetal position, right? Knees up. But to get the handshake, you have to open up. You have to open yourself up. And he opened himself up through words and action, you know? So, all right, let's continue though. We see a soda can. Wonder if that's Coke. Probably not. They're talking about ninjutsu at the academy. Says, what's the name of your company? Kaminariman Company. And then we see a big billboard, biggest enterprise in the land. And I put a pre-order on the next release. All
All
right,
right.
let's pause right there at 7:53.
Okay. So you see how they got the sodas, right?
Exactly. Uh-huh.
I want to point out, I believe that Boruto bought it for him because he's the way he's holding it. That his energy, you can tell he don't. I don't think he wants it.
Yep. I think he bought that too. That,
Boruto bought it for both of them.
you know, I don't carry cash like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if ever is somebody on the street and they, oh, can I get $1? I'm sorry, I don't have any. Meanwhile, Boruto, he'll buy, he'll buy you something. He'll buy you something. You know, this is again exactly what I want out of a character. Show that you're not better than me, but like, you know, morally better than me because it's something you want to look up to. It's the same thing with Superman, right? Superman is the best of all of us. That's what his person is supposed to be. He is the best of all of us. He is good because he is, again, synonymous with Jesus Christ, right? That's what his character was based off of. That's what, not based off of, but that's what they influence him with. And he is said to be the best of all, right? Whether believe it or not doesn't matter. But that best of all type of mentality, you definitely want to see that, right? Because it's only good can come from good, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The whole evil bears evil. That's true. Evil does bear evil. Good bears good. So you would want a good, especially out of a main character, because I don't know if I've seen a movie or any media where the main character isn't a good person, at least somewhat, you know. Maybe Batman vs Superman, if you want to say Superman isn't the main character of that movie and it's Batman, or if you want to say yada yada. But even then, Batman is still Batman. You know, he's justice. Justice is clearly good, you know. That's why injustice is bad, ain't it? But yeah, so yeah, I really do believe that he bought that boy a soda right there. You know, especially because he didn't even know his last name. He just said it himself. He said, my dad owns a company or yada yada. And then he says, well, what company? I don't know your dad. I don't know. Right? I don't even know your last name. And then he says the Kaminariman company and he spit take. That's cool too. A spit take. I like seeing that. It's a old it's an old like thing that no, no, I don't think I've seen in a while where people do spit takes where they spit out their drink because of anything. But maybe the last time was Violet in Incredibles 2. Remember that? I think it was Incredibles 2 or was it Incredibles 1? Whenever she was drinking water and it spewed out her nose. Whatever it was though, that's the last time that I've seen that. So but that invokes shock, right? What is the Common Yarmon company? And then boom, the big poster of what seems to be Common Yarmon property, which is the train. We were just on that train. See how they're building the world? Oh, there's a train in this world. Who made the train? You get your answer. Who is that person? He's the dad of this boy that he just met. It's all connecting, you know? It just shows good writing, right? But then also not just that, he's talking about pre-order, release, yada yada. What is he talking about? Are they more than just trains? We don't know. But just and then his smile. Look at the smile right here. 7:53. Boruto he cheesing. This art style is so good right here. Well, not just right here, but you know what I mean. All right, let's press play though. Now they're walking with the soda. What's the big deal about learning ninjutsu? Yeah, what is the big deal? My father is a former shinobi who credits his achievements in the Fort Great Ninja War for his company's success. So he has great faith in ninja. And then, do you want to become a ninja? Let's pause right there. Not really. And then it cuts away, right? That is somewhat of an answer. It's a roundabout answer, but it's an answer to what we said earlier with why, if we know what a ninja is, right? Even if you don't, why do you want or not want to be one? Boruto said he doesn't care for it. We just got told Denki's father cares for ninja. He has good faith in ninja. So it's juxtaposed. What makes them different? Well, one was in a war, and he credits that for being the reason for his success, which I'm assuming as a ninja, because he said former shinobi, right? And then the other clearly hasn't. They haven't been in nothing, especially not in episode 1. They didn't show us. Only thing is what looks to be the future, and he can't know about the future yet, right? So why is this mentality what he has, right? Well, he has nothing out of it. As the guy just said, he credits that the war for his success. So he got some type of financial or personal gain out of that. A war, yes, financial or personal gain out of that. And his accomplishments, obviously. But Boruto, he doesn't need financial or potential or personal gain. Why did he even do that for Denki? Why did he save them? He didn't get paid. Oh, give me some money now. I'm just robbing you now. I'm the bully. I'm taking your lunch money. You know what I mean? So no financial gain and no what seems to be personal gain out of that. You know, what is the what experience in fighting? I mean, he's clearly way better than them. You can't learn too much out of that. You know, it's just like Elo. You play against somebody lower ranked, you don't get as much. You play against somebody high ranked, you get it way more. But run the risk of losing, and you only got to lose once here, right? So they're like lobbing it. This is probably gonna be the biggest question levied and answered in episode 1. What is ninja, and what is his feelings? And by his, I mean Boruto feelings around it. Well, I don't know. He just said not really. Let's press play on 8:12, 8 minutes 12 seconds. Play. Right. Then don't pay any attention to him. I've never disobeyed my dad. Well, that's fine. At least he comes home. This is insight. My stupid old man thinks only about work and ignores his family. Is that so? So even if I disobey my dad, I don't get punished. I think he's just walking with his soda. He ain't even drink it yet. Or did he? I don't know. I can't see. Who cares about your dad? Just teach him a lesson. That there go again. Teach him a lesson. That's what I do, Boruto says. I'm in the middle of my super plan, but keeping it a secret from my mom is tough. Then he's looking around. What time is it? About 7. No way. I'm gonna get it from my mom. Huh? I thought there was no punishment for disobeying. Mom's different. She's really scary when she gets mad. See ya. Don't let him pick on you. Just teach him a lesson. Okay. Then disappears. Oh my god. Pause right there. 9:12. So, Boruto, this is his thing right here. Clearly, we've seen 3 instances now of him saying, just teach him a lesson. But within that, he says way more. He says, don't let him pick on you. Who cares about your dad? All questions to his character. All that, the like, why is he saying that? Why is he saying that? Well, as he said, his dad, he's never disobeyed Denki. Denki has never disobeyed his dad. But Boruto sees that as, well, at least he comes home. So what does that mean? Exactly. Something is off in the relationship of his parent and child. I mean, his parent and child. Of parent and child. Because when the train conductor said, "Who are your parents?" Boruto did not answer. He chose to remain silent, right? That means it is a topic where they do not want to, it's a conversation they don't want to have right now. Well, as I've said before, conversation is the key. The only way to get through between two different entities or two different people is through conversation. There is no other way. No other way works at all. So, this is something that will come up in the future and will most likely bite them. But, as I said, conversation is a two-way street. It's one thing for Boruto not to want to talk about that subject. It's another thing for what seems to be nothing on the other end. We get no clue of any communication attempts from the other end. One, because, as Naruto said earlier, I've got to deal with the graduation, or graduation, the academy. What do they call that? Whenever you first get into the school, entrance. I don't know, whatever it's called though. Entry to the school. They got to deal with that. They got a bunch of paperwork. Clearly, is too busy. The conversation. There's always time for conversation. That time seems to be not now. From both ends. One is busy, and the other declines to speak. Right. So, but he does say teach him a lesson. Keep that in mind because it sounds like his mother's side of the, because remember, everybody has two parents at some point, at least in real life. I don't know about maybe I'm missing something, but I'm pretty sure everybody in real life has two parents at least at one point in time, right? Because it takes two to tango. But it seems that Hinata's relationship. Oh wait, did they say his mom yet? I don't know. His mom's relationship is different from his dad. His dad, he don't care about disobeying because his dad isn't gonna punish him, but his mom, that's different. Well, is it a good different or a bad different? I don't know. We haven't seen, but he does allude to maybe it's a bad different. And his last remark is don't let him pick on you. Perfect way to end a first encounter with a stranger. Where you have to give him life advice and you hit him with don't let him pick on you. Because that's just, oh, that's obvious. He got bullied. No, it also reflects what he does. That means what he just said, don't let him pick on you. That means he doesn't let people pick on him. Right? It's that simple, right? You following? You tracking? BorutoFan? Oh, you might be muted. Oh, no, never mind. You're just quiet. All right, there you go. You good. I just put you up. But you're tracking though, right? He said, don't let him pick on you, not because it's something for me to give you. It's also because I do that already. I don't let them pick on me. That's why I don't have the problems of getting bullied, right? So let's continue. On 912, Denki looks at his can. He's looking at the trash can. He's looking at his can. He's looking at the trash can. And then he throws it. Kobe makes it 9:30. And he's excited because of it. And then Denki says, just teach him a lesson. Pause right there. 938 or 939. That is impact. That right there is the textbook definition. If you had to look at an image of that, of the definition of impact, that is impact right there. But not just impact, at least lasting impact. We don't know how long lasting, but lasting. Because he told him, just teach him a lesson, but then also not just that, even him throwing the can into the trash. Boruto did that earlier. When Boruto did it, he threw it like he was a center on O-line. He just hucked it, right? And he made it, of course, because he's him. But Denki didn't do that when he had the chance right next to him, right? After he did it, he could have done it. He didn't. But now that he talked to him and he got to know him more, after he leaves, he tries to emulate Boruto. That is perfect. Because if he tries to emulate Boruto in just the can thing, right? He'll try to actually emulate him in the way he thinks, which is don't let them pick on you. And then the main thing that he got stuck on, the main thing that he's gonna try to do is teach him a lesson because Boruto kept saying that. So let's press play. But that shows right there impact from one character to another. All right, 939, press play. We see background train moving. He says, I'm home. Boruto, you promised to be home for the celebration. Sorry, Mom. Shigadai wouldn't let me go. Well, Shigadai has a good head on his shoulders. You, on the other hand, tend to get in trouble. Trouble? Whoa! Who is this? He just jumped on Boruto. You know what? I helped make it today. Boruto, make sure you wash your hands. Okay. Pause right there. 10:08. Immediately, he's home, and we see a shot of the home. Right? Pretty good home. It looks rather expensive to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just in real life. Maybe in Japan, the housing market is different. But that looks to me at least 500,000. I'm not a real estate agent, but at least or a realtor, but at least 500,000. So it's a lavish, somewhat life. He says, "I'm home," and then his mother says, "You were supposed to be here for the celebration, for uh, entering or soon to be entering the academy because he's gonna enter tomorrow." Well, he says, "Oh, my fault. She could I wouldn't let me go." That's a lie. She could I let him go. He said, you know, get on the train, stay on it, you good. Don't do anything embarrassing. Right? Well, this is what we call a little white lie. It is a lie, and lying is bad. But there are times where lying is good. And that time is now. Because rather inconveniencing his mother, who I would have to assume has maternal feelings for him, because it's his mother, obviously, uh, to inconvenience her with the knowledge of, I got in a fight, whether or not you win, whether or not you're hurt from it, doesn't matter. I got into a fight is bad. So instead of inconveniencing her, I'm going to lie. I'm going to say, oh, I was with my friend. We didn't do nothing. He wouldn't let me leave. Not like that, but he wouldn't let me go. Right? That's a good lie. And that just shows he is really, really aware of how others worry of him. Or not even worry, but how he makes others worry of him. Because again, he didn't have to go help him. He didn't have to go put his body in the line and fight the bullies, even though it wasn't a fight. It was pretty quick and done for. He didn't have to, but he did. And then not just that, but he didn't have to lie, but he did, right? Because it's better. He is picking the correct, or in this case, more right, because correct is different from more right. More right is morally. Correct is not morally. Correct is objective. It's something objective, right? And why am I emphasizing this? This is a little white lie. This is a one-liner. No, it is not. Everything in this show is for a reason. Remember this right here. Moment where he chooses the right thing to do, and the right thing to do at that time is to tell a little white lie. A little white lie. And then we see old girl jump on his back. Clearly friendly, not an attack, so has to be somebody he knows. I would not let nobody, even if you know me, you're not getting on my back. Get off of me. What about you, boy? You just letting anybody jump on your back?
Imagine.
You said what?
Imagine.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. Even if you're a kid, clearly younger than him, you're not jumping on my back. And I don't have any younger siblings, so, or at least not that are that young to jump on my back without possibly hurting me. So clearly that has to be a relative of him because it's in his house or in their house. And she was with Hinata without him being there. I'm sorry, you can't be around my mother if I'm not there, if you're random. Right? So again, it's all pointing towards it's somebody that he knows. And then she even says, I helped bake the cake today. Right? Or not cake, but I helped make dinner, right? Well, I don't want no kid making my dinner. I'm sorry. I like to cook. I'm a good cook. I like to cook. But then also, I don't trust nobody. You know this from me. If I cannot see who made the meal, if I cannot see the meal being made, how the sausage gets made, it's supposed to be frightening. Not for me. I need to know because I'm not eating nothing that's on my table. That's why I like to eat before I leave to go out anywhere. I'll eat. Oh yeah, we good. Oh no, I'm good. I'll drink some water though, because I know what water has. It's just H and O, two of them, or two H's in them. So, little white lie. Remember that, because it will come in handy in multiple episodes in the future. Let's press play at 10:09. Damn, anime food looks so good. Says you start at the academy tomorrow. I got to know your father at the academy. I've heard that so many times, you know. He was always causing trouble, so people treat him like a problem child, but he was actually very cool. I've heard that so many times too. I thought your father would be home tonight. That's nothing new. He just keeps ignoring you and Himawari. Don't complain, Mom says. The village is safe because your father and the others protect it. Let's eat. Pause right there. So his father was supposed to be there, and this shows the difference in the mother and the father's relationship with the child. One is absent and one is not. But then also, she is talking about the academy because we got a big day tomorrow. It's your first day of school. You remember your first day of school? I remember mine.
Bro. Oh,
No?
I remember my first day of school.
You said what?
I remember my first day of kindergarten.
Hold on. Why is my thing not going on speaker? Let me switch you over. Hold on.
Am I just low?
There you go. All right. Now talk.
Am I low or?
No. It's good. It's good. Yeah. Do you remember your first day of school?
I remember only a part of it. I remember it's like a fragment of kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't remember nothing like anything memorable from that day? Like, oh, the literal first day, like the first thing you see or nothing? You don't remember that?
Nah. I remember that first day though.
Well, I remember my first thing. First day of school. I did not want to go. Did you want to go? I did not want to go. It was elementary. I did not do pre-K. You know, because some countries they don't do pre-K, but in the U.S. they do pre-K. I'm in the U.S., but I did not do pre-K. I went straight to kinder, and in that, the and I remember this because they keep telling me about it because it's a pretty funny memory. I get in there with my backpack bigger than me. Right, it has nothing in it. First off, it has like maybe a tissue because for some reason they tell you to bring tissues on the back to school supplies list, and then maybe like a notebook and a pencil. But it has damn near nothing in it, and it's bigger than me. I'm walking. I get to my first class. You know, in kinder, you only have like one classroom really, or maybe a couple, right? But I remember that first one, and on that first one, when they get to the door and I see the teacher, she's like, "Come in, come in." I had a female teacher. "Come in." They let me walk halfway into the door, and then I grab onto the door frame, not trying to go. I'm literally holding onto the door frame, and they're trying to get me off of the door to get me in the class. And then I'm like, "No, don't go." My parents, right? I was like, "Don't go," because they gotta go. They gotta go work and shit. "Don't go." And then uh, I was just, I think I was there for like 5 minutes, probably just holding on to the door. How did I have this strength when I was that young to just hold on to the door and nobody can pull me off? But it makes sense because now, older, I have such great grip strength for some reason. Maybe genetic, I don't know. Because I don't even do lifting like that for real. But I'm Alex Honnold, the boy that climbed the Taipei 101 on Netflix. I seen it whenever it first came out. But yeah, I was holding on to the door and I would not want to go. Meanwhile, Boruto, he hears about the academy and he doesn't seem he seems indifferent. I don't know about you, but he seems indifferent. He doesn't care about it, doesn't it? But her saying, "I met your father at the academy." Anything with the father, immediate turn off. This shows again their relationship. This is probably again the biggest connection from the sequel and the prequel because it's literally about the people from the sequel and the prequel. This is the biggest thing that you need to pay attention for. Because as we'll see, Boruto is always right. But yeah. And then we see that she tries to excuse whatever the reason their relationship is different. She tries to excuse it as your father isn't home because he and the others, who's the others? Right? This is all questions you have to ask yourself, and Boruto is asking himself currently. Who are the others? But yeah, Naruto and the others protected. Protected from what? Bullies? That's the only threat I've seen for now in episode 1, right? And clearly, flash forward, if all seems true, they're what a job at protecting it, huh? What you did such a good job. Is everything's destroyed, you know? So it's setting us up with what we've seen for being on the side of Boruto on this issue of their father or his father, which makes sense. You know, most stories they want you on the side of the main character, but in this story we have two main characters: the main character of old and the main character of now. And people will, especially because it's the first episode, one episode compared to 700 episodes of the other main character, right? The of old main character. It's going to be a lot of people that will be hard to pull onto the side of Boruto on this matter. So all you can do is lay it all out there. Lay it all out there. They don't want to be on the side of the right. And by the right, I mean the correct, right? As in the side of Boruto. Then they can be on that side. But we'll do what we can to prove to you why Boruto is correct. And then we see him pissed off right now. Just hearing that. So again, this will be important. Let's press play though. 10:47. 10 minutes 47. But there's no enemy to protect us from. Exactly. Boruto, fighting isn't the only duty of a ninja. There are many things the Hokage must do to ensure that the people can live safely in peace. Pause right here. 1109. So she just said, again, we were asking the question, what is a ninja? Right? Because this is a big thing in episode 1, I mean. One guy likes ninja. They have faith in ninja. The other guy doesn't. Meaning Denki's dad and Boruto. Okay, well now we're learning more about a ninja. This is also a good episode on the objectively not objective or the unobjectively objective list of what episode 1 should do. This right here is one of them. What is a ninja? Well, explain it. Well, you think a ninja, you can only think of in real life. In real life, what does a ninja do? They fight, right? They do secret shit. But as she just said, fighting isn't the only thing that a ninja does in their world. What else could they do? What else does she say maintains the peace? And specifically, not just any ninja, the ninja in question, Hokage, as in his dad. So what exactly could his dad be doing right now that she is attempting to excuse for the reasoning for him not being there to celebrate probably the biggest memory to date, other than the literal birth of the child, the first day of school. I had my parents on my first day of school. They walked me to my room or to my classroom, and then they, oh yeah, here go another thing. So when I was holding on to the door, I didn't hold on. I mean, I didn't let go. So we just left. I didn't even go to my first day of school. They just took me back. They said, "Oh no, you try tomorrow." Acclimate him to being away from the parents, right? So clearly, Boruto is better than me, because he's already acclimated to not being with both parents. He's with one right now, right? But yeah, that was just a little something for me. I remember that day vividly. I literally did not want to go. Meanwhile, Boruto is indifferent. Why? Well, I know why I didn't want to go. It's because I cherish my parents. Boruto seemingly doesn't. I would never be like, oh my God, I don't care for the parents unless they show me something to do so. And so they've done, or in this case, they haven't shown him something because they haven't been there. You can't show him something that isn't there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Boruto, again, is in the right. This is why you have to know that they're doing everything that they're doing right now, telling you everything that they're telling you right now, for the reasoning of Boruto is correct on this matter. Which is crazy to say. The child is the one that is correct on the matter of parenthood. At least I would say. That's crazy. Ain't it crazy to you?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I like push to talk because I don't want my background to be like in the audio.
You said what?
I'm doing push to talk because I don't want like my background to be in the
Oh, okay. I knew it wasn't me. That was you. Okay. Perfect. But nah, ain't that crazy that the child is correct on the matter of parenting? Like, come on now. But it's whatever. Let's continue though. Let's continue because this is important right here. This is literally the biggest issue that people had for some reason on Boruto. So, oh yeah, and then I forgot. They're again reiterating he's going to school tomorrow. Something very important. All right, but let's press play. 1109. So uncool after he looks at a bunch of frames on his drawer, nightstand, whatever. Now, switch to the little boy. He's talking to his dad. Oh, he just got slapped by his dad. Denki, you're the heir to Kaminarimon. A general curriculum is And Denki, Dad, how pitiful. Seems you fought with some hoodlums again today. What are you going to do? You definitely need the training at the academy. I, thinking in his mind, who cares about your dad? Now he's flashbacking to Boruto. This is Impact. So I just have to be strong. If I can prove that I'm strong, this is where it goes wrong. Boruto did not tell him all this. Says if I could prove I'm strong, I study whatever I want. Yes, if you're strong. And he locks the door or closes the door in the hallway. Strength. What is that? I don't have that kind of strength. What is that behind him? Oh, bite. He just got bit by something. Hold on, why is he looking like that? I just have to prove it, right? What is this pattern that we just saw? Pause right here, 12:27. All right, so, and this is why I say Boruto is just a guy trying to do the right thing, just like Superman. Because Boruto did not tell him all this. I'm sorry. Boruto told you to teach them a lesson, not strength is yada yada. Not just that. He said, don't let them pick on you. Your dad literally beat you just now. You let him pick on you. And then not just that, but you let your dad convince you otherwise. Not obviously that he beat him. Duh, he still feels it. That happened. But he let his dad convince him otherwise of what? From what Boruto thought and told you. Instead of what Boruto told you, you listen to your dad. And now he's got you on the wrong track, like the train. Because now you're thinking about strength. But remember, when Boruto saved you, he was not thinking about strength. He said, I'm not strong like you. Boruto said, huh? What does that have to do with anything? He didn't say that part, though. What does that have to do with anything? But he thought it. Or rather, he didn't even think of it because it's not an option to him. It's not about strength. Strength is the wrong way. So, this is another example of us being on the side of Boruto. Them convincing us, especially the people that have seen Naruto and Shippuden, convincing them to be on the side of Boruto because he is the main character. But not just that, but because he is right. And in this matter, he is definitely right. So, what can come out of this? Well, it's not Boruto, because we see what happens when Boruto follows his ideology. What happens? Nothing, because he doesn't allow anything to happen. But doing something, straying from that track, what is this? What is going on? Already, he's has something happen that Boruto hasn't done or experienced. A snake just came out of nowhere and hunked him. A ghost, right? So this is the action right here. Remember how I said everything has action, but not everything has fighting. This is their fighting, or this is their conflict, you could say. So I'm looking at this and I'm looking at I'm thinking back to my elementary school. But let's press play. A bunch of kids walking around. Who are these kids? You don't know. Boruto's already, oh, no. This is bad. You're late. And the little girl says, Hinata says, will you make it in time? No worries. He's running. Yeah, right. Then he parkours, just jumping around, sleeping until the last minute, then riding the train to school. My leisurely life at the academy is about to begin. And let's pause it right at 12:58. Or, yeah, 12:58. So, this is something that, again, is not like me. I did not almost not make it to school on time. I was there right on time. But he want to act like I'm running late. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm making it, boy. It's good. And that is a practice that I now implement in my life. What is there for all this unnecessary worry of, am I going to make it on time? Is the traffic bad? You don't gotta stress yourself out. Just as he said, my leisurely life at the academy is about to begin. It's a mindset thing. You have to think of things in a different mindset to get different results, you know? Or I guess the results you want. Because different is different from what you want, right? So, why would he want to do that? Oh, well, because I get to sleep in more, but then also because I get to ride the train, which is what Shikadai told him. Just stay on the tracks and you'll get to your destination. It ain't no stress. Don't stress about it. Just get on the train and you're going to be good. Exactly what he's trying to practice right now. That's another impact moment. Even though this seems to be a routine for them, because it's not their first time on the train, clearly, from how they could just jump off of the train and land on power poles. Perfect. But then also, they clearly aren't stressing about it. Shikadai, he just hanged off of the power grid or power pole thing with one hand. With one hand. They don't, there's no stress. This is leisure life. This is peaceful times. That's what I was trying to get at. Peaceful times. Especially because, again, Boruto said, there's no enemy to protect us from that he knows of. And now, here comes the train. So, right where we're at, right where the Shikadai stuff ended at. Get off the train, take a detour, get back on the train. You'll get to the destination. So, let's see what happens at 12:58. Press play. We see him looking at a little boy that he just saved yesterday. That's the guy from yesterday. He sees, what is that? What is that aura around him? And then we see Boruto, and then we get a shot of him panning to the front of his face. He says, what is that? Pause right there. What? 13, 17. Immediately, I have to say, bravo. That, I don't know if y'all picked up the snaps, but I was snapping like poetry. Bravo. That is such a good shot right there. A pan from side profile to front, to, front facing. But then not just that, him saying, what is that? Meanwhile, we're literally seeing something on his face, the eye on his right side, that we don't know. And we're asking ourselves, what is that? He's asking, what is that aura? We're asking, what is that eye? And why can you see this aura? It's
Like
very good. It's, again,
we done, and people don't even see it.
This is the job of an episode 1. Well, really, this is the job of any episode, but especially in episode 1. It is something to intrigue you. Like, I want to know more about that. And I want to know more about that eye. So, yeah, then let's press play. 13, 17. That eye, mind you, that is going to be important. He's looking at it. He's looking around. Denki disappeared. Then he rubs his eye, and his eye disappears. He's gone. No, your eye is gone. What's going on? He's riding the train too. I think we're going to get along. Pause right there. 13:32. Again, real ironic. We're asking the same stuff that he's saying at the same time. He's saying, what, he's gone. No, your eye is gone. What is that? What is your eye? Yada, yada. But he says, we're going to get along because he thinks that he's going to ride the train. Because what? As I was saying, he is becoming more like Boruto in terms of mindset. In terms of mindset, the best way to replicate it is to replicate everything else that could potentially be the reason for that mindset. And what would that be? It would be his actions. Boruto, he rides the train. Denki doesn't seem to ride the train. He was clearly walking whenever he got bullied down an alleyway. So maybe he doesn't. But now, after that talk, now he's like, oh, he rides the train too? He's like me? So, yeah, just that little bit of him saying what we're saying, and then also him being like, "Oh, we're gonna get along," you know. It's again, good person. He's just a good person. You know, everything's gonna be all right. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that whole thing. He is like that, you know, and I like that because that's me right there. That is me in real life. Everything is gonna be all right. If it wasn't, oh well. We'll deal with that when we'll deal with that. And then guess what? When we deal with it, I'll be ready. I'm gonna handle it because there's nothing at all that I cannot handle. I'm sorry, you know, if I'm prepared. And what do I got to do? All I got to do is get prepared. It's that simple, you know. And that's same with Boruto. Boruto, he's not stressing about school. He's already prepared for that. You know, there's nothing that he has seen that he can't handle. Just like them bullies that he's fighting or fought. So let's press play. 1334. The bully's talking about something. You called this out, so what's up? They about to fight again. Bully looks at the ground, sees this dollar. First off, that shot of him picking up the dollar, really good. I forget who's the animator for that. And then now they're following the breadcrumb, talking about, oh, another dollar. And they're like, this looks sketchy. I don't know. And then now they get locked in a train. Oh my god. They're in for way more than they can shoot. Boruto running up, gets the train. Denki says, you guys are so simple. Denki, why that? What are you thinking? Stop this. What's going on? They don't know what's going on. Don't you know this is one of our company's prototypes? Several problems were found with it. So, and now the train is ripping apart. This one's defective, just like you guys. We were just having a little fun with you. A little. Pause right there. 1436. And this is exactly what I was saying. You do not know what hurts people. You think you know, but you don't. These bullies, first off, they're talking about some what's going on, right? Yeah, you don't like it when you don't know, or you don't like it when you're the one that isn't in control. How do you think Denki feels? But then not just that. They say, we were just having a little fun with you. Oh yeah, a little fun? You thought it was fun. He didn't. This is what in real life people, you know, it leads people to the ultimate thing, you know what I mean? So you really gotta be aware of what you do and how it affects people. And Boruto clearly practices that way more than these bullies. That's why he is a better impact on Denki than these bullies. What are the bullies gonna teach him? They're not teaching him anything. A lesson. See what I mean? But yeah, and then this boy, now he just talking crazy. He talking about some y'all are defective like the train is. Oh no, what's gone into him? Who is this person? This is not who Boruto just met yesterday and who he helped. This is not the boy who was thinking about how he's not strong enough to do things. Who is this? Exactly. All right, let's press play. Do you see that? I put another defective car on the same rail. There's no one in it. You get it now, just a little collision of defective goods, and then he makes a exploding thing, like a gesture. You're kidding, right? Stop this. Now Boruto drops down on him. Denki's talking about some, why are you here? He says, I just happened to see you. Aren't you going to the entrance ceremony? That's what it's called, ceremony. Who cares about that? I'm going to prove that to my father that I'm strong. Haven't you gone far enough? No. I have to prove that I'm strong. Boom, pause right there. 1517. First off, we paused on a frame where Boruto is clutching his right eye again, and it's his eye has transformed to something that doesn't look like his other eye, right? So, this is what I was talking about with the whole putting them on the right track thing. Boruto put him on the track of, you know, just don't let him pick on you, teach him a lesson, yada yada. But he did not think that what he said was going to turn into this. Because what happened in between that and now? His dad put thoughts into his head otherwise of, you got to be strong. You know, the heir to my company, which is supposed to be the child of him. But how he's talking, that doesn't seem to be so guaranteed, right? The heir has to be strong type talk, right? It's the macho man up type talk. Old school parenting. That's why he beat him. Or not beat him, but he just slapped him once and then he fell over. I still beat him. That happened. And that is what I was saying with, they're showing you again and again in the further down in the episodes, Boruto is on the right track. Boruto is the correct way. You know what I mean? So, yeah, with Boruto seeing this, who is this boy? And what is this? What is going on? He said, that's far enough. See? That shows two things. One, that he has some type of guilt because he thinks it was his fault that he said, teach him a lesson. I didn't mean this. And then the other is, I would not do this. As in, Boruto, would not do this. If Boruto was in your situation, this is not what he meant by teaching him a lesson. And this wouldn't even have been in my, and by my, I mean Boruto, I'm first person in it. This wouldn't even have been in my thoughts because my dad isn't there to tell me the thoughts. See? I'm telling you, boy, these stories are so well crafted. And this is just episode 1. I'm already knowing anybody listening in, you're going to get a lot of this, a lot of my breakdown. Because I've been broke it down. On first watch, I broke it down. You know, April 5th, 2017. But, yeah, I don't know how people didn't catch it, but also, back to the show, right? 15 minutes, 17 seconds. With Boruto clutching his eye. That's the still frame. Let's press play. It's happening again. Stop it already. Then make me. Oh, the first rail switch back is coming. Are you guys going to be okay? What? Boruto looks, throws a dagger at it. He misses. Damn! Too bad. What happened to you? Boruto says, my father's word is absolute. Boruto runs up on him. Oh, huh? I need his approval, Denki says. Or else Boruto grabs him. You don't need his approval. You can't do anything without worrying about how people would take it and make your own decisions. And then his eyes glimmer and Denki is. What's wrong? Hey, what are you doing? Look out front. It's coming. The other train is about to hit. The train's here. Boruto's looking at Denki. He's, oh, let me go into action. Denki grabs him. Why'd I do this? Boruto just smiles. Leave it to me. Thunder. Pause right here. 16:27. I'm already knowing you're gonna talk about this, but let me say something. So that he again confirms to us that this is not something he would have done because he's clearly against it. But then also, when he confronts, because it's not a confrontation really, but when he confronts Denki about this, he first off that walk up on him, it looks so cool for some reason. But then also, he grabbed him by the collar, lifted his shirt up, right? And then said, you know, what's going on, yada, yada. They figured it out. Think he's talking about his father's approval. And this is it's not a parallel, but it's mirroring what could be for Boruto and his father, right? Clearly, he sees this isn't correct. Why? Because I wouldn't do this. And then also because it's just wrong. And what is the I wouldn't do this? I wouldn't ask for my father's approval. He doesn't. You know what I mean? Boruto would say, I don't have to do all that because I don't need it. Who is he, anyways? And he's like, all right. The bullies are telling him, hey, boy, what are you, stop talking. help us or something, right? Again, bullies. Now y'all see how it is with no power. Now y'all see when y'all the ones not in control. I hope that takes you out your bullying ways. But either way, Boruto is like, oh shit, for real. The matter at hand is way more pressing than Denki right now. We'll deal with him later. He'll deal with him later. And then he's, all right, let me go save the day. Again, not because it's him looking for any personal or financial gain. It's just him doing it because it's the right thing to do. And then Denki stops him. What could be so important, Denki, that you're stopping him from saving you? And it's Denki saying, why did I do this? Boruto don't even think about it. He don't even say nothing. He just says, leave it to me. Because he knew he was right. That's why he smiled. He knew he was right about this boy. That is not who I met. Whoever this is now is not who I met yesterday, not even a day ago, and acted like that. So I'm not going to put fault on you too much. It's clearly still his fault, but I'm not going to put fault on you too much. If anything, I'm going to put fault on myself, as in Boruto's going to put fault on himself because, again, the only difference between yesterday Denki and today Denki was Boruto talking to him, from what Boruto knows, obviously. Boruto talking to him and telling him, hey, teach him a lesson. Again, my fault. Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. I should have told him something else. Then we wouldn't be in this position. Yada yada. Overthinker. And he just smiles. That's the Superman right there. Superman smiles. Spider-Man, same thing, smiling. You know? He is the Superman and Spider-Man hero equivalent in the universe, in the Naruto universe. So now, all right, you said your little piece. I didn't say nothing to you because I know it ain't your fault. Let me go actually save the day. Let me get back to matters at hand. So 1627. You ain't gonna say nothing though about that right there.
You said everything I thought.
Oh yeah, I know. But yeah,
smiling part.
exactly. Like, come on now. Even that smile, he has the best smile I've seen of an anime character.
I'm saying, bro. I be saying that. Like, yo.
I know. I'm telling you, boy. It's something about the design with the hair and his eyes. You know. But yeah. So let's continue. 1627. This boy's about to get ready for Finn. Right? Because again, it's not a fight, but it is action. Press play. Takes a big deep breath. Shadow Clone Jutsu. He makes 3 Shadow Clones. He chain ladders himself. He swings himself. He's swinging himself. He's like left, right, yada yada. He falls. Denki's looking at him. Real slow-mo. I like the how the dramatic they make it.
Bro,
Right here.
Too, bro.
And then Boruto's still falling. Boruto says, Denki. Denki's thinking back to what he told him. And he gets unpossessed. Denki starts running. Grabs him. Good catch. They save him. He's like, Boruto. Then Boruto then swings himself. He pulls the switch on the little rail to switch tracks. And they narrowly miss colliding. Right? So let's pause right here. 1727. Boruto is swinging off the side of a train, having just saved the day, it looks like. So let's recap what just happened. Boruto, deep breath, get ready to save the day, and then he's looking like he's about to. He falls off the train, falling off the track, right? Remember that. Remember what Shikudai said. And then he has to, Denki, yell at him. And then Denki thinks back to what he told him, right? And it wipes away the ghost. What does that mean? You know what that means? He's wiping away the thoughts of his father because it was about his father that made him change his ideology of what I need to do. Right? The teach him a lesson is what Boruto told him. But teaching him a lesson did not mean what your dad told him, which is you got to be strong. You got to show, yada yada. So he is literally forgetting about needing his dad's approval and doing this with Boruto, helping Boruto because he wants to be more like Boruto. And as I said earlier, with a example of people just doing good to do good because that's the good thing to do or the right thing to do, Deku had this same thing right here with Denki. When Deku first episode saw something bad going on, and he has the ability to stop it. Everybody's running the other way. Deku runs towards the danger. Denki right now has the same scenario happen. Similar, not same. Similar scenario happen. Bad thing is about to happen. Boruto's about to fall off the train and probably die. Even though it's not even going that fast, really. It looks like maybe 60 miles an hour, if you had to put a guess on it, but I don't know. He's not going that fast. But either way, he'll get hurt, which is bad, right? Denki. See, it's the similar type names. I mix them up. Denki, he could have just stood still, froze, right? A lot of people freeze in these moments. Heroes don't do that. Good people don't do that. Denki just, literally, his body just acting on his own to catch Boruto. And he catches him. And he prevented the bad thing from happening. So, that right there is a sign of Boruto affecting Denki for the better. But not just for the better, because that's one thing. A lot of people affect people for the better. And a lot of people affect people for the worse. But it is comparative. Compared to his father, Denki's. Meaning, if he is correct about Denki's situation, more than his own father is correct about Denki's situation, then we again have to be, or not have to be, but we are being convinced that he is correct about his own circumstances with his father, which is he is on the right side of things. And he is, because he is Boruto. But yeah, let's continue. 1727, he's dangling off the side of a train. And Denki says, I can't hold on. Boruto's like, huh? Just a little longer. You can do it, Denki. Positive words of affirmation. Denki's looking like he's about to fall off. We cut away. Boruto's, huh? What happened? And then his bullies become his savior. Or not his bullies, but the bullies become his saviors. And then Boruto says, we're okay. Give me a break. That was fun. Boruto making that. Oh my God. Boruto said, that was fun. Everybody said, no, it wasn't. And now they're all laughing about it.
Yeah.
See, that's all you got to do. You can't be stressing about it. Just it happened. Laugh about it. You'll live to laugh about it. See what I'm saying? What do? It won't hold. Now the train, another problem just comes out of nowhere. And she says, let's jump onto the other one. Let's run. Go. They jump on. All the bullies get on first. Bullies. Now they're extending a hand. See how I said extending the hand with the handshake earlier? Exactly. And then Denki says, sorry, we've got somewhere to go. That's right. Staying on the track isn't for us. See? Pick a eye. And then he switches that and it looks to be off the tracks. Now we cut away to the ceremony of the academy. They're listing off, the roster, the class student list. And then they're on to Boruto saying, Boruto Uzumaki. They're looking around like, Boruto didn't even make it. And Shigeda's thinking, even I made it in time. This girl, Sarada, says, yada yada. And then they're like, hold on, let me pause right here. 1912. 1912. Because they were going back and forth. I had to pause. All right. Everybody has something to think or say about Boruto when he's not around. How crazy is it? But yeah, they're all saying something about Boruto's situation. You don't even know what he has going on. why are you speaking about somebody else if you don't know what's going on, right? That's the thing right now. But it's obvious. It's because they're literally, this is an important day. They emphasize this is important. Today's day is important. In real life, first day of school is important. So, yeah, they're like, that's so like them. Sarda. And then Chocho says, are you listening, Sarda? She's just in thought. And then they say, you stay put. Maru says to Naruto, because, again, even though they do have somewhat of a bad relationship, the dad is still the dad. So you stay put. You have to make a nice warm speech to him. This is again what could be, because we were asking this at the dinner table. Well, not we were asking, but around that time we said, what could it possibly be that Naruto is not there for Boruto in his times of need? What could it possibly be that they are justifying it for? Well, earlier, the first excuse of they're doing this to protect us. Him and the others are protecting us from what? Nothing that he knows, that Boruto knows. And now we see an example of what is actually, because that is one thing. What Hinata says of he's protecting us, but Boruto doesn't get to see what he's protecting us from, it doesn't exist. It's the same thing with back in the day when people used to think certain things did not exist if you could not see them, because that is how the person works. You have to have some type of tangible evidence for it to be real, you know what I mean? Like, you have to, and that tangible evidence in real life, right, for the thing that, let's say, air, or not air, but maybe the atom, as in molecules type. We didn't know about that way back, and then people found it out. And when they found it out, the tangible evidence was science. Science. It wasn't literally just they saw atoms. You can't see that. At least humans can't. You can see it with the help of instruments, tools, but you physically cannot see that. So, right here, this is us physically, tangibly seeing something that is the reasoning for him not being there for Boruto. Now, whether you accept this right here, which is he isn't there right now with Boruto in his time of need, right? Because his dad could definitely save him just like Denki did. Denki is not doing something that his dad can't do right there, right? You put Naruto in that train in Denki's situation, he'll also catch Boruto. One, because it's his son, but then also because, it's Naruto. So whether you accept that doesn't matter. I don't accept it. I don't accept it. This is not a good enough reason. You are a parent first, everything second. And especially for Naruto's case, because he quite literally was a parent before he was the Hokage. So you are a parent first, everything second. But Shikadai and what seems to be tradition and, just the common day supersedes that for him. Why Naruto goes along with it, I don't know yet. This is episode 1. We'll get into that further down. All right, so let's press play. 1912, let's press play now. All right, so now we see, cut away, the train. What's going on? Where's the train going? It's above Naruto. No, it's not. It's going to hit the face. That's Naruto's face. What just happened? We see a bunch of smoke clouds on that mountain area. Boruto brushes off himself. He says, "You did it." And then Boruto climbs out the train, standing. Boruto Uzumaki is here, Pause right there. 1947. So we've got 2 things out of that. He brushed off his shoulder with that dust, right? What that means is, again, another tactic or another gesture of not stressing. It's a breeze. You wiping your shoulders off. That was a breeze, even though he almost died, or at least got hurt if he'd have fell off the train, right? But because it already came and went, there's no point in reminiscing in the past. See what I mean? So instead, Boruto Uzumaki is here, you know? And now we know his catchphrase is also, you know, like Naruto had his catchphrase, also, you know. And then look at him, just stance. Come on now, boy, he is that guy. He is him. But let's continue. 1947. Play. Boruto. Naruto's looking at him. Everybody's looking at him. All the adults are looking at him. The kids are looking at him. Guy says, that guy, talk about doing something embarrassing. As he said earlier, don't do anything to embarrass your dad. And then Boruto's smiling, then he gets serious. He looks at his dad. His dad looks at him. Somebody teleports behind Boruto. He's fighting him. Then he says, sorry, big bro Konohamaru. You don't even look sorry. And from today, call me sensei. Huh? That's sort of creepy. What do you mean by creepy? Hey, Denki, are you okay? Boruto's looking out for him. We made it in time for the entrance ceremony. You got another kid involved? So what? We're fine. What's fine about all this? Yeah. You are so. Boruto Uzumaki, you're. I paused right here. 2043.
Yep.
So,
Right. I want to say.
You want to say it?
Yeah.
You got it? All right, go ahead.
As the time Boruto is doing all of this, this kid didn't know who Boruto was, and now he knows, or he realized.
Exactly. He's seeing what we're seeing. He took this long into the episode because he wasn't there for anything that wasn't literally him in that scene. But then also that right there. First off, we figured out Big Bro Konohamaru. Well, we know Naruto and Konohamaru aren't related from previous knowledge of the other shows, or from the prequels. But why would you say Big Bro? Well, it's because it's a thing people say. People say, hey, Big Bro, and they're not related at all. It's just somebody to go to. So, what else did we see? Well, you saw how he teleported behind him, and even though everything that he hit or threw at him, he blocked. Boruto is crazy because with that fight of him and the bullies didn't stand a chance. I'm sorry, but this guy, Big Bro Konohamaru, he's just blocking everything effortless. It's levels to it right now. Boruto is good, but it's levels to it, right? And then forget all that. That's less important. The real important thing is we made it to school on time. And then Denki comes out the rubble talking about Boruto's talking about something. Are you okay? That's is like immediate. Oh my god, this is so good because you didn't have to ask that. You're actually literally not okay right now. You're being restrained by somebody, and you ask somebody else, are they okay? Come on now. That's Superman. He is Superman. That is Spider-Man. That is all hero pro team number one or whatever, you know? Or all pro hero team one, whatever. So then he was like, you got another kid involved? But he said, we're fine. Again, laissez-faire. This is it doesn't matter anymore. It already happened. Can't deal with it. Or can't dwell in it. All right, but yeah, and they still made it on time, so it really doesn't matter, you know? All right, let's press play though. 2043, press play now. They're taking the train out of the mountainside or cliffside. Naruto's looking at a scroll. It says taking a prototype from the Thunder Grail and running amok, causing damage to the Hokage's face. No one was hurt, so everything is okay. But that's Shikamaru. I mean, Naruto says sorry. Shikamaru gives him a paper saying this is from the president of Kaminarimon Company. They'll pay for all the repairs. That's the dad. It says Boruto stuck up for his classmate. Despite all that happened, he's quite grateful. He says his son has changed. Impact. And then Naruto turns around. He says, I see. And then it's ever so slight, but he smiles. He smiles. Naruto smiles. Having heard all that. Pause right here at 2140. So, as we were saying, what could possibly keep him away from his son? Ain't nothing keeping my dad away from me. I mean, like, not literally, you know what I mean? But, like, if my dad wants to see me, he's going to come see me. If I'm at work, hey, I popped up on your work. If he's at work, he'll get out, you know, because it's his son. I'm his son. It's a parent first, everything second. So with this, right, we saw what he had to be away for. I don't think it's enough. But at least we see, first off, Boruto stuck up for his classmate. Exactly. He is a good person through and through. Everything that happened doesn't matter. He's doing it for the right cause. And so because of that, oh, my phone at 20. Okay. Well, we're about to wrap up anyways. So now we got to think, okay, so his dad is actually caring for him, right? Because for now we've only seen the mom, but his dad is actually caring. Well, clearly not enough. And not just not enough for Boruto. This is not enough for Boruto. This is bare minimum. Matter of fact, this is less than bare minimum right now. So the dad will pay for it, and his son has changed. That's because of Boruto. Boruto changed him. That's a good character. That's something you should want to follow up on. That's something you should be like, I want to watch episode 2 now. I want to watch it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that, and then Shikamaru, he's just there. He's just there to tell him, you know. Shikamaru, I blame you for a lot of this, but not for episode 1 just yet. Oh yeah, this is one of a few episodes where the ending is, and by ending I mean like the song, right? Because anime have opening and endings. This is one of few episodes where the ending has something more to it that is a part of the episode, and they just put the song in the background. So this is still episode 1. You do not click off right now and go to watch 2. You have to watch this one and this part right here too. So 2140, Boruto's walking, Denki's on the wall. Press play now, poem. Boruto's walking around. I wonder what's going to happen to my easy life at the academy. First he said that real sparingly. Now he's, you know. He's like, morning, Boruto. My suspension's finally over. I should have been the one who was punished. What does Boruto say? Denki says, why did you cover up for me? Boruto says, huh? Oh yeah, it's no big deal. It's not. Okay, but I made it in time for the entrance ceremony. Thanks. Smiling. Says, no, I should be thanking you. Boruto looks at him. Denki says, what? Says, nah, it's nothing. Wonder what that was. We still don't know what that was that he saw. Oh, good morning. Morning. Chocho says, I wonder who that was. Who knows? Mr. Kaminarimon should be more careful. Stupidity is contagious. That was Sarda. So you, and then Denki says, I got into the ninjutsu program. Boruto says, for your dad? No, I just think ninjutsu is awesome. I'm going to study new ninjutsu and try to incorporate it with machinery and science. Boruto says, really? That's great if that's what you want. And then Chocho calls him, Denki, can I see your homework? Denki says, sure. Runs off. It's okay with me, but what do you do at home? Did you just ask me that? Is that something you would ask a lady? This boy Chocho, or this girl Chocho. Boruto's thinking, whatever path I choose, it's got nothing to do with my dad. I'll walk my own path. Zoom in, because this is my story. Fist bump into the air. And then now, previews. Pause right here. 23. Well, it doesn't matter. Just pause. Okay. This is why you had to have watched this. but should not go to episode 2 immediately. Because, first off, he got suspended, which makes sense because he damn near endangered another student, and then also you made a big muckus, or at the entrance ceremony. So, listen to what their conversation was. Denki was wondering, why would this boy cover for me? And then Boruto says, oh, it's no big deal. It's not. One, because, again, he cares for others over himself, right? Betterment of others over himself, if it has to be over anybody. And then also, it really isn't. It doesn't matter anymore because the dad already paid for the repairs. All that's going to take is time now, you know? And then Boruto asks him, or no, Boruto hears, hey, he's going to be in the ninjutsu academy or in the new ninjutsu program. So Boruto immediately, this is serious. Why? He asks why. Not literally, but he says, for your dad? Remember about dad's approval. That was the whole point of him getting possessed and him getting unpossessed because it wasn't his dad approval. And then Denki says, nah, because of me. And he gives his reasoning why, because he wants to merge it with science and machinery. He does in later episodes. Perfect. Boruto says, good, if that's what you want. Because again, we do not need our dad's approval. It's about us. It's about you, Denki, and it's about me, Boruto. So, yeah, and then obviously they won't be cheeky playing around and they're exploiting Denki. I'm sorry. Denki just giving her homework, giving Chocho homework and shit to copy off of probably. Come on now. But nah, Denki, again, what did Boruto tell him? Don't let them pick on you. So now he isn't giving over something of his will, or not willingly, like against his will, which was with the bullies, right? His bullies were talking about some, give me your money, give me your lunch money. They was robbing him for his lunch money. And now at the end of the episode, instead of him against his will giving it up, he's now willingly giving Chocho his homework. Ties it all up in a neat bow, in a nice little bow of just this episode. And then Boruto has his inner dialogue of, this story is mine. It ain't gonna do nothing with my dad, and I'm gonna do what I want. Right? That type of messaging. And this leads to the chapter 1 argument. What is the chapter 1 argument? The chapter 1 argument is a argument of so-called Boruto fans that they believe the best way episode 1 could have been made was to just do everything that chapter 1 did to a T. Nothing more, and definitely nothing less, right? That is what the chapter 1 argument is. Well, why do they think that? Because they do not think of what we think of this episode, of episode 1. Because this episode, most of it did not happen in the manga. The only things that happened in the manga was the beginning in the future timeline, right? With them fighting, and we don't even see the fight. And then right here at the end, it's an adaptation. It's a little bit different, but it's still the same messaging of, this has nothing to do with my dad. This is my story. I'm going to do what I want. That, and not in that order, because it ends off with, this is my story. But they both have the, this is my story. So now, thinking logically, not with our feelings, thinking logically, right? You could say, which it is true, but you could say that what they did was put this entire episode 1, what wasn't in the manga, right, in between chapter 1. In the middle of chapter 1, you put that. It's way better. Everything that we just explained about this episode today is better. And guess what? Because you put it in between, it doesn't mean you don't have to do that. what they did in chapter 1. It just means you could do it later, which, as we know, because we've seen the future, we've already seen further episodes, they do. But what do you got to say about the chapter 1 argument?
It makes me think about the adaptation. How people say, or some people would think, it's a bad adaptation, but it's actually really good. And it's like
Exactly.
the medium, right? Or
Mhm.
the whole point of what we were supposed to get from the, like you said, since it's between. I'm guessing you're saying it's between the flash forward and the part where it's his dad in the.
No, the in between is it's in between the flash forward and the panda mission. You remember the panda mission?
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
further in the series for the
Okay, yeah.
anime. But
Hmm.
no, I'm saying like the whole it has to be in the manga. No, it doesn't.
Oh
Because
yeah.
guess what wasn't in the manga? The movie.
Hmm.
So yeah, the
I actually was thinking about something. I'm gonna make a video on it. Um, like the whole point of the adaptation is not to
mhm.
is for everything to make sense. I say.
Yeah,
So they saying, oh, it should have been like this. It should have been like that because they think it's not told the way it's not told exactly how they think it should be when it's told better.
exactly. Because remember, both chapter 1 and episode 1 have the same job. What's that job? It's to introduce you to everything. And then once they introduce you into everything, give you a reason to stick around and find out what happens next. Right? So, what is more likely to make you stick around? Everything we just said right now about this episode 1 or chapter 1, except that chapter 1, you would only be at the flash forward sequence. You wouldn't even get to the rest of it yet. Exactly. It's the
Also,
episode because you get flash forward
mhm,
plus more. Um, and then not just more, but characterization,
mhm.
world building, uh, conflict and resolution. You get that more in abundance in the anime. But that's just something y'all will learn in as we do more and more of these episode reviews. But yeah, and then to wrap it up, right? Since we're tying it to the manga, what have we learned from this episode that can tie back to current day manga? Meaning chapter 31 to Blue Vortex. That's as far as we've seen because that's the last chapter that had released on the day of recording. Well, again, we know the seventh Hokage is Naruto. We know something happened to him. And we know that the village gets destroyed. And that's it. Because again, they haven't told us that even in the manga. So, right, because this is the main reason why people want manga adaptation. Not because they care about narrative, not because they care about what's good and bad, but because they want answers, right? So, if neither option, manga or anime, are giving you the answers to the question of what happened in that flash forward sequence, what actually happened, if neither of them give you those answers, why would you not want the one that gives you more context? Why would you not? Because it's not narrative. It is not narrative. If you wanted characterization, if you wanted all that, you're getting anime. You're doing the anime. You're watching it. And you're watching everything. But I don't know. I can't think like that. I don't know why these people think that way. But they do.
Uh,
And you just got to question whether or not, right? Because you can't question their motives because they're never going to explain their motives. That's what they always do. If you can't question their motives, what can you question? What you can question is whether or not they picked up on everything we just put down. for episode 1. Because I've seen real life examples of this. I've seen people say, I watched episode 1, and then people say, read the manga. Why? Why? Because it's not, again, narrative. But yeah, what else do you got to say? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. And that concludes it. Pretty good. Oh yeah, I forgot. The ending, right? Because the opening was Hanabun called Baton Road. The ending for this, I think, is probably my favorite ending of the first year, right? Because the first year there's only 4 or only 3 really before it turns into the next year. But yeah, this ending is called Dreamy Journey by the Peggies. And this is the only episode though that is going to be an actual scene playing out for this episode, or for this ending. I mean, this ending, everything after this episode is going to have actual end credits, and it's going to be like, oh, you know, if you want to listen to it, you could listen to it. If not, you could skip it, right? And just because I know Crunchyroll, they skip the intros and outros, don't they? Or not? Nah?
Crazy, because for Boruto it doesn't. For Boruto,
Oh,
it
well,
doesn't.
perfect.
But like,
Oh, maybe it's because of this episode. Is it a this episode thing? Because it could be a this episode thing.
No, it's like all the episodes. So like, it gives you the skip option, but this only happens for like newer, like updated.
Okay. Well, yeah, but if need be, we will tell y'all, hey, this episode has an end credit scene. Don't click off. Or this episode has a opening, cold open. Don't click off, even though you just opened it. But you know what I mean? So, yeah. To recap, very, very good first episode in terms of what a first episode should do. And then also, very, very good first episode in terms of what the episode told you. They told you a lot about everybody, about the world, about the people in the world, about the conflict that the main character has against the world. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but all right, we'll be seeing you probably. We'll have to figure it out. But next is episode 2. If y'all want, y'all could go watch it right now, or do the same where we do stopping and pausing, and we're gonna get better at the stopping and pausing. It was only because it was episode 1. This is the first thing. It's a new series. But yeah, just see y'all when we see you.